Before you do that, so that I understand the minister's position, Minister, are you saying in that sentence, are you saying the existence of a temporary task team is not constitutionally permissible? Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily. I'm saying I was referring to Constitution. I was referring to the Constitution in broad terms in relation to what I understand to be the mandate of SAPS, that they are less likely with dependence on task teams than when they depend on units that they cultivate, that they develop and hone over a period. That's what it was referring to, but not to say there's anything unconstitutional about task teams, because that you can't do away with, because it is dictated to by the need on the ground all the time. But just establish, assess, and then time frame all the time.
Yes. So you did not make the decision that to disband the PKTT on the basis that it is constitutionally untenable to have that task team, the PKTT. That's not one of your reasons for disbanding it.
Definitely, it is not one of the reasons.
Okay, so if we read this paragraph, if I read this sentence to be one of your reasons for disbanding the PKTT, then I am wrong. I misunderstood what this sentence means. Is that what you're saying?
My understanding of that sentence is that it generally sends a message to SAPS to discourage teams, task teams, keeping of task teams, because it makes it less possible for SAPS to reach out or to get their mandates fulfilled. Not to say it's unconstitutional, teams are unconstitutional and so on, but if SAPS more and more depends on task teams which are temporal, firstly you have a problem of administering them, carrying them on your shoulders, and then it makes you less likely to fulfill your mandate.
Yes. The problem with your explanation, Minister, in that paragraph is you're specific. You're speaking about the NPKTT. You speak about the NPKTT, and then you say the continuation of a temporary structure. So in the first sentence, you say, first, SAPS has made clear throughout 24 that NPKTT was an interim structure whose mandate fell squarely within the permanent remit of the murder and robbery unit created by the 2019 work study. So we know from this first part that the second part of that paragraph, where you say the continuation of a temporary task team, you are referring to the NPKTT.
Yes.
So my question remains, am I incorrectly understanding what you say in this last part of the paragraph? Do I misunderstand when I read it, which I did, to mean this is one of your reasons that the NPKTT that you give for disbanding the PKTT, it is that it is constitutionally untenable to have the PKTT, which you describe as outside of the structure, the organizational structure, that to have it continue to exist, this temporary team, the PKTT, is constitutionally untenable?
In the context of its impact to SAPS to reach out their mandates.
Okay. With that answer, then it must mean even the taxi violence task team, it's constitutionally untenable to continue to have it, given your reasoning about the PKTT.
That is why the taxi task team was put under specialized units inside SAPS organogram.
Okay, but you didn't dissolve it. You didn't disband it.
No, what happened with it? It was put under murder and robbery, which is under serious and violent crimes, to permanently reside within the structure, which makes it better for subs to fulfill their mandates.
Yes.
So, which is different from a standalone structure like PKTT.
Well, can I maybe make my point this way? The PKTT, as at the 31st of December, was not the only task team of the subs. You express in paragraph 167 that it's constitutionally untenable to have a task team exist outside of the organizational structure. That's what you say. The principle is it's constitutionally untenable to have task teams outside of the structure. Maybe you're correct, maybe you're not. But the question is, you dissolve only one task team when you have that concern about the constitutionality of task team. It is only one task team that you dissolve. You're happy to live with the unconstitutional existence, if ever there's such a concept. You are happy to countenance the continued constitutionality problem you have about the existence of other task teams, but just not the PKTT. Please explain in a way that makes that your decision to make sense.
Now, historically, the National Political Killings Task Team is the only team that had been associated with being inside or outside the structure all the time from 2019. And as indicated before, it was always expressly indicated by subs that it would need to be integrated, it would need to be absorbed. And therefore, that's why it sort of features higher than any other team in the conversation. Hence, even here in these paragraphs, it seems to be the only, but the principle is not necessarily confined to it alone. It applies across, but the specific reference is this one because in the conversation that had developed over time, that was the one that was in reference almost all the time from 2019.
Sorry.
More than any other.
This is my last engagement, I think, for now on this. Have you just said that the PKTT is the only task team that the subs have considered to be outside of the structure, of the organizational structure?
No, I'm saying the PKTT is the only task team that had consistently featured in the conversation parallel to structures, simply because of one reason. Its tasks were identified by subs as requiring absorption to a specialized unit inside. And it's almost because the other teams that were originally identified, they were identified as a problem, as a burden, as being untenable. That's why they were then dissolved, if I could talk that language, and integrated into like murder and robbery, and under under murder and robbery and under serious and violent crimes. They were doing integration so that it could be these task team could be managed better in a sustainable way, so that you could be certain about the instruments you are using to fight crime. Okay,
can I just try one last time so that I understand what your answer is to my question?
Yes.
Are you saying to us the PKTT, and it's a yes or no answer, I either misunderstand or understood you correctly. I'm going to reframe my question. Are you saying the PKTT is the only task team that the subs that you're referring to considered to be outside of the organizational structure? It's either yes, that's what you're saying, or no, that's not what you're saying.
For my clarity, I hear you very well, but if you could be kind to me to repeat your question.
Okay, that's all right. You spoke in a way that made me understand you to be saying, according to the subs discussions,
yes,
the PKTT was the only task team that was considered to be outside of the organizational structure. You spoke in a way that I understood you to be saying that. So what I'm asking is that what you were saying, that understanding of mine that I've just projected back to you?
Yes.
And that's why I say it's a yes or no answer. Either I understood you correctly to be saying only the PKTT was considered to be outside of the structure, or no, I misheard or misunderstood you.
You misunderstood me.
Yes.
And the reason for that is that National Political Killings Task Team is the only structure, or the only team that was targeted, if I could use that language.
I see.
Over a long time for integration. It's as if even the specialized units were established such that you would absorb, because
Can I stop you there, Minister?
Okay, thank you.
What I wanted to establish with you a few questions back was you have other task teams in the subs.
Yes.
Can we agree, if you are correct in this sentence where you say the continuation of a temporary task team outside of the organizational structure is untenable both administratively and constitutionally? If you're correct with that statement, it holds for all task teams.
Yes,
must be.
That's correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to establish. So it's not just unique to the PKTT.
Yes, that's
it also
correct.
Applies to the mining task team, to any other task team that the subs has.
That is correct, with a proviso that you wouldn't, when there's a need to establish a task team, you would flinch from doing so. You would establish and then disestablish.
Okay.
But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Commissioner.